Affordability is the new hot keyword for the economy. It's the #1 issue in America, ahead of immigration and ahead of healthcare. But I think healthcare is part of affordability. So the question is, whose issue is this in terms of advantage? Let's discuss with former Trump White House spokesperson Harrison Fields and the man running for Nancy Pelosi's seat in Congress and AOC's former chief of staff, Saikat Chakrabarti. Saikat, good luck to you. It's good to have you. I try to have your boss come on all the time, but, you know, people play favorites these days, and this is not the home team on NewsNation, to be sure. All right, so let's talk about this. The president's perspective, Harrison, is, wait a minute, the Democrats created the cost of living problem. That's what I ran on. I'm Mr. Gas and Groceries. I'm going to go out into the country and remind everybody how much better I've done than they. How is that going to go for him next week?
Well, good evening, Chris, and thank you for having me on. It's going to go well. He has a good story to tell. Remember, he just passed historic tax relief for the American people in one big, beautiful bill, which they will feel when the clock strikes midnight in 2026. You also look at the jobs numbers, continuing to beat expectations. And if you look at who's actually getting these jobs, it's native-born Americans. It is not foreign-born foreign-born workers who were really gobbling up the jobs in the last administration. And if you look at home ownership, Secretary Scott Turner mentioned we have 1 million new homeowners, and about 500,000 of them are first-time homeowners in this country. Look at mortgage rates. Mortgage rates are collapsing, which is good for new families like mine trying to purchase a home. Look at gas, groceries, and rent. All of them are making strides. Remember, it's only been 11 months. The president has been doing everything possible to make sure this economy is turning around after the 4 years of devastation from the Democrats like AOC and Nancy Pelosi, who really got this economy in the gutter. The president is working hard to fix it.
Okay, Saikat, just to be clear, 5 years ago, the mortgage rates were on the average of somewhere in the area of 3%. Now you're lucky if you can get one just a little under 7%. So they're not collapsing. They've come down a little bit, but your argument is taken in context. Saikat, you are smiling all along as if your job is easy on this. Why?
I mean, it's not my job. It's just trying to face reality here. Because you look at these numbers since Trump's taken office, inflation has been going up. Unemployment's been going up. I mean, like the housing stuff, come on. You ask anybody trying to buy a house right now, you ask young people trying to buy a house right now, you're going to go with that argument? I mean, look, I want you guys to go with this argument that this is all Joe Biden's fault. Because the American people, they know that Republicans control the House, they control the Senate, they control the presidency. So keep going with trying to blame the past. People actually want stuff to be fixed. That's why Donald Trump got elected. People elected him because they expected him to fix the economy. They expected him to build back a high-wage manufacturing industry. And guess what? Manufacturing jobs have plummeted since Donald Trump's been in office. So you guys are failing, and guess what's going to happen on January 1st? Healthcare premiums are going to skyrocket. You know, Medicaid benefits are going to get cut. And that's not something that's happening to the economy. That is something that Republicans have done to the American people. So keep going with your excuses. I think it's weak. I think the American people are going to see through it.
Harrison, do you think that's why the president is bombing the drug boats and doing other things to distract from this issue instead of just banging on who's better on the economy?
Not at all. He's the president of the United States. He has to focus on domestic issues, but he also has to focus on international issues as well. Listen, if you look at the border, it's secure. If you look at the economy, the president's trying to turn it around from the last 4 years of devastation under the Democratic Party. If you look at leadership on the world stage, it's back. If you look at the president's ability to secure peace, not just in the Middle East, but around the world, look at Congo and Rwanda, historic peace agreement signed yesterday. The president is achieving that. He is walking and chewing gum, unlike the previous president that could barely walk, and all he did was chew gum in his sleep. So we've got a president that's actually doing his job every single day, despite Democrat objections in the House. Every single Democrat voted against historic tax relief for the American people because they said it's so-called tax cuts for the rich. Meanwhile, if you are a waitress, if you're an Uber driver, if you're a senior, no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime, no taxes on Social Security, all will be coming in 2026. Not to mention Trump accounts, in which if you have a newborn baby in 2026, you now have the ability to have seed money so that when your child is 18, they'll be sitting at around $40,000 in a bank account in which they can go and hopefully buy a new home or pay for a college. So this is what the Republican Party is doing, and I would implore your guest to talk about what he's running on, because the Democratic policies have failed us. Look at this so-called Inflation Reduction Act. Did nothing to reduce inflation. All the Zoran Mandanis of the world want to do is tax and spend their way out of the problems and really tell the American people they're going to give them everything in the kitchen sink, and they failed to deliver. This president is delivering. Remember what he did the first 4 years. He will continue to do that in these 4 years. Give him some time. The president is on a mission to help the American people.
I'm giving Saikat the last word. Harrison, I appreciate you. Just, two quick things. I like the savings accounts. I think they should be opened up to workers who don't qualify for employer-defined benefits, 401k, and not just kids. I think that's something that should be on the table. We'll see which side tries to own that. And the tax cuts, once you get above the top, they're not permanent, they're temporary, and they're nowhere near as beneficial as what the top gets, which is why the tax cuts aren't as easy a win, I think, as the right thought they would be. But I take your arguments, and you're always welcome here to make them. Saikat, to answer Harrison's question, what are you for in terms of what you think the Democrats can offer that's better than the Trump administration?
Look, something I do agree with you on, Harrison, is that this affordability problem, it's something that's getting supercharged by Trump, but it predates Trump. It's been predating Trump for decades. I actually think it's the driving reason we had someone like Barack Obama get elected, because he was running on bold sweeping change. And I think it's why Donald Trump got elected in 2016 and 2024. And the thing is, you're not going to be able to tackle affordability with whack-a-mole policy. Like a 50-year mortgage rate, that's not going to do it on its own. Just doing a tariff here or there, that's not going to do it. You need an actual plan. You have to build systems that replace a lot of the broken systems we have right now. So when it comes to healthcare, yeah, I'm for single-payer healthcare. I think we need a new healthcare system because the ACA is simply not working, right? When it comes to housing, you got to actually fund and build millions of units of housing in this country to get supply up. When it comes to energy, we have to produce so much energy. You need a real plan to do that. It's not going to happen by just giving tax cuts to the rich and hoping they sprinkle that back into the economy. That is not working. So, I've worked on plans to actually create energy abundance. Trump ran on energy abundance, but then he's canceling solar projects and wind projects all over the country. I think that's just not serious. You actually have to do this stuff in a coherent way, and it's not going to cut it to just do a thing here, a thing there, because this is a deep, deep problem. It's at the root of our problems in our economy, and until we fix it, the pendulum's going to keep swinging back and forth.
It's an important seat you're running for. I know that whoever you're running against is going to wind up yelling at me and want time on the show, and I'll give it to him because I'm going to cover the race all along, Saikat, and you're welcome here to make the case. And Harrison, you're always welcome to make the case here as well. Whichever side can figure out how to get us to go back to where we were, not in a MAGA, Make America Great Again way, but when we worked off Keynesian economics, and people can Google this and figure it out, and not Milton Friedman economics, where you didn't have to give the most money you could just to shareholders. This country did way better for more people than it is right now. Who can get us back to that and how? We'll see. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.